We visited the Old City Cemetery in Lynchburg, Virginia. It was founded in 1806 on land donated by city founder John Lynch. This wasn't just a cemetery, it was the cemetery. For decades, nearly everyone ended up here. The wealthy, the poor, travelers who never made it home, and thousands of African Americans, both enslaved and free, who had nowhere else to be buried. Today, an estimated 18,000 to 20,000 people rest here, though no one knows the exact number. Walk through the cemetery, and you're not just walking through graves, you're walking through the entire story of Lynchburg. Confederate soldiers, over 2,200 of them, lie in one section alone. Nearby, laborers from tobacco factories, immigrants, children, and entire families. In another part of the cemetery lie thousands of African Americans, many without markers. Their stories are largely lost to time. Now imagine this place during the Civil War. Lynchburg became a massive hospital city, treating tens of thousands of wounded soldiers. And this cemetery, it wasn't just for burial anymore. It became part of the war effort, a burial ground, a defensive line, and something far more unsettling. Because just beyond these graves stood a building people feared more than the battlefield itself. The Pest House. They called it the Pest House. Officially, it was Lynchburg's first hospital, but in reality, it was where you were sent when you were expected to die, unfortunately. Patients with smallpox, cholera, scarlet fever, they were all brought here and quarantined far from the rest of the city. There was no modern medicine, no real sanitation, and survival was very rare. Most who entered here never left. Their graves were often right outside those walls. Inside, conditions were brutal. To reduce the overwhelming stench and noise, floors were covered in sand, lime was scattered to fight the smell, and even the walls were painted black to help patients rest. It wasn't healing, it was containment. A place where diseases were isolated and death was expected. But then one man changed things. Dr. John J. Terrell. At a time when most doctors avoided the pest house completely, he walked straight into it and stayed. He introduced practices that were revolutionary for the time, boiling instruments, improving sanitation, even paying attention to patient diet. Slowly, something incredible happened. People started leaving the pest house alive. And the cemetery's role didn't stop there. Nearby researchers studied a deadly disease affecting Civil War horses, a disease called glanders, turning this area into a strange mix of battlefield science and burial ground. Imagine that for a second, a graveyard, a hospital for the dying, and a research site all in one place. Today, it feels peaceful, birds, gardens, walking paths, petting zoo. The cemetery is now a 27-acre history park and arboretum, even hosting weddings and events. But beneath that calm surface, every step you take is layered with stories, some documented, some forgotten, and some that were never recorded at all. So when you walk through Old City Cemetery, you're not just visiting a historic site, you're walking through a hospital for the hopeless, a battlefield aftermath, a resting place for thousands, and a reminder of the time when survival was never guaranteed. And maybe the strangest part, we still don't know exactly how many stories are buried here. And just when you think Old City Cemetery can't get any more unexpected, you turn a corner and there are goats. Yep, in the middle of a historic cemetery, there's a small petting zoo. Originally, they were brought in to clear brush and overgrowth, but now they're basically the most popular residents here. And it creates this really strange contrast because one minute you're learning about the pest house and disease, and the next your kids are feeding goats and laughing. It's one of those moments that reminds you this place isn't just about death, it's about life too. There's a place in Virginia that most people have never heard of, and even fewer ever stop to explore here, because it looks like a ghost town. There's no crowds, no lines, it's just a quiet stretch of road in a town that feels like it was left behind. This is Pamplin, Virginia. At first, it doesn't scream ghost town. You'll pass a few houses, there's maybe a car or two, and a few businesses, but then you hit the center of town and everything changes. The streets get quieter, the buildings get older, and suddenly it feels like time slowed down and never quite started back up again. As you walk through Pamplin, you start to notice the details. Old storefronts with faded paint, windows that haven't been touched in years, doors that look like they haven't opened in decades. Some buildings are still standing strong, others look like they're just holding on, like one good storm can finally take them down. And the strangest part, it's not fully abandoned. There are still signs of life, which somehow makes it feel even more creepy. Pamplin wasn't always like this. Back in the 1800s, this was a thriving railroad town. The tracks brought in business, travelers, and opportunity. General stores, small shops, and local services lined these streets. This was a place where people stopped, stayed, and built their lives. But when the railroad traffic declined, everything else followed. Businesses started closing, families moved away, and the town slowly, quietly began to fade. Not overnight, but over generations. What's left today is like a snapshot of the past. There's still historic buildings scattered throughout the area, including old commercial spaces and community structures that once played a huge role in everyday life. You'll find reminders of things like the post office, local shops, and gathering places, all pieces of town that used to be full of energy. There's even a small local museum nearby that helps tell Pamplin's story, connecting what you're seeing now to what used to be here. But no matter how much history you learn, there's still something about this place you can't quite explain. It's the quiet, the kind of quiet that feels heavy. The way your footsteps echo a little louder than they should. The way the wind moves through empty buildings like it remembers something you don't. It doesn't feel dangerous, it just feels forgotten. Pamplin isn't a true ghost town, and people still live here, life still exists, but it's still in the strange in-between space. It's not fully alive and it's not fully gone, and that's what makes it so interesting. Because instead of disappearing completely, Pamplin just stayed exactly where it was while the rest of the world moved on. Places like this don't get a lot of attention. They're not big tourist stops, they're not flashy or famous, but they tell a story you can't really find anywhere else. A story of growth, decline, and time quietly doing its thing. Pamplin, Virginia may not be a full ghost town, but it's close enough to make you stop, look around, and wonder what it used to feel like when everything here was alive.